I could necessarily. Mike Tyson, yeah, was a heavyweight who had power and speed. Muhammad Ali never had power. He never had the haymaker, right? But he was quick. He would take you down. Jab, break you. You can't hit him.
Well, Muhammad Ali actually did have power because he was a heavyweight boxer.
Well,
and Bruce Lee used to watch his fights in the mirror to see what he would do in the right lead, because obviously most boxers are left lead only.
You're not getting what I'm saying. Yeah. Joe Frazier had power.
Yeah.
I'm talking about natural brute power.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali,
now, isn't it?
he's not known to have.
He still had power.
But
you're not getting what I'm saying. Speed, his power was speed. If I hit you like this, you are not going to feel it. But if I come quick, you're going to feel it. That's what I'm saying. Speed is power. And that's why women are, they use.
Wing Chun's not so about power, although power is a part of the Wing Chun.
You're not getting what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, but
I'm talking about speed, like it's power.
I know.
I'm not talking about you need power.
But what makes Wing Chun work is sensitivity, which is the energy, because the Wing Chun happens in tapping range,
of course,
which is a very uncomfortable range to be in.
It's using your own power against you.
Yeah. So the idea is someone pushes you pull, someone pulls you push. Yeah. But when it comes to actually striking, you do need to apply power, and it's very short.
Of course, but someone not naturally powerful. Wing Chun is a perfect. Like for instance, look at Feng Wei. He's got that powerful kung fu style, yeah. That power kung fu style. Look at someone like Jackie Chan. He's bright. He's kung fu. You know, subtle, soft kung fu. It's like it's flowing. It's like it comes from Tai Chi. Actually, it comes from India. I forgot his name. Luda Krishna? No. Where Bruce Lee learned when he went to India, he learned, that's where martial arts actually came from, in India, bro.
Not necessarily. Basically, old martial arts that influenced the Chinese systems came from India, like about 5,000 years.
I'm talking about that's where.
Like Bodhidharma, the Indian monk, he went to China.
He would take animals, you know, and it got passed on.
Just for those who don't know, this is like the origin of martial arts being discussed by Iron Lobster and Lion-O, two martial arts enthusiasts.
And when Bodhidharma came along, he approached the meditatory systems, and he kind of revolutionised and improved the Chinese systems. And then that's where the 5 animal styles ended up evolving from. But the roots are, it's all the same.
You even look at Kung Fu Panda, the animals, you know, based on fighting styles. I love that.
But the migration really went everywhere. I mean, Southeast Asia, like Thailand. I mean, there's old like Sanskrit texts in some of the old like temples that lead back to like Thai boxing. The Muay Baran, which is the original Thai boxing, it's rooted back in India, and stuff in like Silat in Southeast Asia.
Come from India.
Yeah, but I disagree when they say everything. Without India, there'd be no martial arts in China and Thailand. They still had their thing. I think it spread.
There's so many theories, isn't it? But that's even Bruce Lee even referenced him going to India.
He went to make a film called The Silent Flute, and he hung out in India. And the thing that broke his heart was he wanted to like find so much historical stuff, but he couldn't because it's really died out. And I've spoken to people. I've done my research, and I really want to sort of experience authentic Indian martial arts, but it's so hard to find. Like literally, you just have to move to Kerala in the south of India and do some training there. But the stuff I've seen from there, it is very much like yoga, and it's very much like the animal styles. But it's so devolved. It'd be nice to be able to reverse engineer it and see what it would have been like 5,000 years ago, when it would have been used like, you know, to really sort of mess people up. But it's like with the Chinese systems now, they become a lot more watered down because they're not really used to like mess people up. When you look at something in like in Brazil or Southeast Asia where people have a lot more, not capoeira, I'm saying like more, because in Brazil you kind of like have like, you know, some of the BJJ stuff when it's used on the street, not the BJJ for the sport. But if you look at capoeira in Brazil like 100, 200 years ago, like so I know some capoeira people, and it's like, you know, old capoeira, like when it was used to settle brawls, they'd have like, you know, people fighting in a circle, and you know, they'd have like blades in their toes and like machetes in their back, and that's where the movements come from. But when you look at it now, it's a sport. But with the, it's like if you look at Filipino Kali, the Filipino stuff is very brutal. If you look at it now. Yeah, Filipino sticks, empty hand like Panjatman, Panansukan. It's very brutal, it's very effective.
What do you think about Muay Thai?
Muay Thai is brilliant. If someone's coming to get you and you have like a week to learn to protect yourself from this guy, you either do boxing or Muay Thai. That's it.
You know with Muay Thai, they have to kill off the nerves in the shins.
Yeah, tell me about it.
That's not dangerous, but slowly, day by day, Sometimes they hit trees, poles, slowly.
The reason I say it's dangerous because doctors have said that you can get
don't
damage your nerves and stuff.
You have to kill the nerves.
Yeah, that's the plan.
It's like when you're learning the mantis. You have to knock your knuckles against the table to develop a callus of it.
Because you rapidly destroy your cells. Yeah, you can get like cancer in your shins.
Nah, you don't get cancer from it. It just affects the way you walk when you're in your 30s. So I knew a professional Thai boxer when I was younger, and so from like because he's from Thailand, from his like mid-teens to his like early 20s, he was just a professional Thai fighter. But obviously, no, he walks messed up, but he's still solid.
You know what I've seen? You've seen that footage of that black guy going to Thailand and him whacking that guy, and that guy blocking it with his shin.
Oh, that's horrible and
his
breaks.
bone comes out, bro.
Yeah.
Like, this black guy, he comes from, like Bruce's down four. Yeah. He does that to this black guy.
Yellow round
this
kick.
Bad boy, like, little fucking Thai guy, and he just blocks it like this. Yeah, no,
his ankle snaps at the foot. It's horrible.
You seen that footage?
It's horrible.
Did you do that? No, he just bro, he shit, how hard his shit must be.
It was more to how hard he kicked him.
That's solid.
Essentially, he kicked a brick wall, didn't he? If the guy's shin's hard, didn't he?
Yeah. I think, if anything, he must have a family history of osteoporosis or something. That rarely happens. Like it must have been that time in his life with the brittle bones kicking.
The guy who blocked his leg got broken, or the guy who kicked?
The guy who kicked his leg got broken. The attacker's leg got broken. He basically kicked him so hard. It was like irresistible. Irresistible thought means a movable object. That's basically what happened.
Just comes out.
Oh, is that I remember. And then he tried to stand on it again, and his foot just kind of. Oh shit! I remember that.
Very brutal, very strange point. So being practiced in the streets. But if you look at
Bruce
something,
Lee was there. You know what? I had to argue with a lot of people, and they disagree with me. I said Bruce Lee was the pioneer of MMA.
yes, he was.
You saw the outfit. Jeet Kune Do is MMA.
Not necessarily outfit-wise, but
who was the first one to wear that outfit? You saw it in Enter the Dragon.
well, that was just to show off his physique. But really, what that was.
No, but you know the pants, the gloves.
Well, Bruce Lee.
That's all MMA.
Well, I'm with you on that because a lot of the modern MMA people, I can't remember his name now, but he's like Bruce Lee's a fan of MMA, even though it's unintentional, because obviously we're talking over nearly 40 years ago. But with when Bruce Lee essentially pioneered he even revolutionised weight training because he invented a lot of weight training stuff.
He was the only one who started making his own protein shakes.
Yeah, he pioneered a lot of stuff.
People don't know that this guy, the way he used to train, he was I'll say about 4 years ahead of his time.
He was so ahead of his time. Basically, he pioneered cross training methods because he was doing stuff like Thai boxing, judo, boxing, fencing, American football stuff, and he was learning from everyone, and he was absorbing it, and that's what the cross training methods the MMA guys do today. So yeah, he's the father of a lot, and people in traditional circles don't really acknowledge him, but obviously people in the more modern circles do acknowledge him, and that's always a joy to see.
But you know what? Another thing, as a human being, I look up to him more as a human being. What a great person he was.
Oh, he's like Lennon, really. He's a person of extremes. He was capable of. He did so many amazing things, and when he did something shitty, it was almost like the pendulum swinging back and forth.
Yeah. For a Chinaman, because you know how Chinaman, the perception was, chang bang bang bang, and for him to go over them, break that stereotype, and Chuck Norris is gonna get booked by a Chinaman. They went in Hollywood. There was a lot of racism, like in that film. Green Hornet. That was one of his first roles, right? He played Kato. They wanted him to wear the mask so he don't look too, they don't want to show that he's too Oriental. But he was supposed to play Oriental. But then there was a beef, right, between Batman and Robin and Green Hornet and Kato. And they said in the script, they said, you know what, Batman and Robin are gonna win this. No, Bruce Lee went mad. He went to the dressing room, started smashing up the mirrors. He's like, no, I'm not losing to Robin. So they have to make to make it a draw. But Bruce went mad.
The story was he weren't happy with that, so he decided to troll the guy. Yeah. So he basically spent the whole week building up. I'm going to beat Burt Ward up. You have to play his Robin. I'm going to beat him up. And so he spread the word. He started it, and then Burt Ward hears from him. So the whole week everyone's really nervous. Like, what's he going to do? We can't say anything because this guy's a bit tough. And it comes to the day in an account, Burt Ward said this. Outside of running him over the Batmobile, we didn't know what we were going to do. So Bruce just steps up to Burt Ward. He's walking across the set at him, and everyone's backing up. We won't be able to stop this guy. And he just walks up to him, just just sort of punching the air, rolling his shoulders, and he gets right up in Burt Ward's face, and Burt Ward's like, hey Bruce, what's going on? He goes, Robin is a chicken. And he walks off laughing, and everyone's like, oh, you bastard. And that was it, like, epic troll. But he had a great sense of humour. But he was just a person of extremes. I mean, he was, like, my two favourite stories of Bruce was, like, it's not really a favourite story, but one of them is, like, when he was training, one of his training guys got like a punch, and Bruce just went mental and, like, straight blasted him and hospitalised him. What a cunt. But that's not me, but the other thing was, like, one time he was with his friend, I think it wasn't Taki Kimura, it might have been Joe Lewis when he was down or something, I can't remember, it was one of his friends. And they were out shopping, and at that time Bruce was successful because he got into films. And the guy was looking at the weight training set, and he was just like, oh, I love those weights, but I just can't afford them. So Bruce, you know, bought the weights. And he goes, what are you buying? Oh, these are for Brandon. And then he thought to himself, he wrote it was in the book, that I thought, Brandon's a bit young for these weights. And so they carried the weights to his car and says, look, you better use these weights because these are for you. And he said, I nearly cried. He's just so generous. And that was like one of like the things about him. That's kind of why I like the guy.
He was a giver. He was a giver. But another story, like one of the big boys must have come to his dojo, right? And he goes, you know what, mate? He goes like, he goes to Bruce, like, and Bruce was on the mitts, and he goes, show me what you got. And the guy's like, you know what, I hit hard. It's like, cool. He goes, you know what, I hit really hard. It's like, cool. He goes, look, are you sure? Like, you know, this guy's huge. He must have hit the pad now. Yeah? Bruce is there. Bruce is like, cool. Martin, yeah? I must have held the mitts now. Bruce must have let off one time, sent the guy flying back. And he was like, damn. One of the stories, like, it was like it kind of reminded me of like a Paul coming in and throwing out a Phoenix smasher, and like Bruce not moving back.
I was thinking, although he slagged off karate, he took a lot of punching methods from karate in order to develop strength. But, you know, basically karate had like one or two good things about it, and that's where he took it.
That's where he did it. He took every good thing and everything. He took away the negatives from, like, like, you know, for like Muay Thai, it's mainly elbows and knees, and he would say, you know what, like, there's not enough punches in there. Like, he developed it into his own style.
No, the Thai boxing does have a sound boxing system, it's just not as good as Western boxing. Basically, boxing, it has your standard boxing jab, cross hook, uppercut, overhand. It has the elbows, it has the knees, and it has the clinch. But the essence of Thai boxing is 110%. It's because the Thai boxers are so fit, they're so strong, they're so conditioned. Everything they do is hard. Yeah, it's just the ultimate. It's the ultimate hard style, and that's the essence of Thai boxing. The moves, it's very minimal.
There's not many flaws in Thai boxing.
Well, there is. There's no real groundwork. There's no weapons. You know, it's lacking that respect. Whereas, I mean, boxing has amazing footwork, amazing punches, but there's no kicks, there's no grappling, there's no weapons.
There's weaving as well in boxing.
Yeah, boxing has superior movement.
You know Floyd Mayweather, right?
He's so hard, though.
He's actually developed kind of a Jeet Kune Do defensive style. It's called the Philly shoulder style. He fights like this.
What are we going for?
You throw a punch, right?
Yeah.
You see Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah, that's the boxing shoulder.
Yeah?
Well,
shoulder roll.
these two guys are two martial arts enthusiasts, still going out their conversation. Amazing debate about martial arts. You guys need to stay tuned, man.